Hi, welcome to Group 11 presentation. My name is Wasu Ibrahim Oluwaseun.
Hi, my name is Ademola Shorimade.
Hi, my name is Shogun Abdulsamad.
Hi, my name is Okonkwo Rita.
Hi, my name is Tomo Olayemi.
I and my colleagues are going to be talking about the topic project management and strategic planning. This topic involves 11 sections, and I'm going to be talking about three sections in general, while my colleagues takes the rest. Thank you for joining us.
So, what is a project? A project is a temporary activity that is launched for a specific purpose to carry out a particular objective. In construct, a in construct, project management is a systematic approach to project planning, organizing, and managing resources, resulting in a project that successfully meets its objectives. It requires knowledge and skills in many areas and a clear understanding of the processes that underlie a successful project. Literally, projects are one of a kind and they involve uncertainty because people are doing things that are new to them. So their prediction about how long tasks will take may be well off the mark. Whereas a process should be tweaked so that the underlying activities are streamlined, efficient, predictable, and cost effective.
So, the triple constraints. Now, projects are basically constrained by three factors, which include time, scope, and costs. These factors are interconnected, but then if one of these changes, the others to get affected. Oftentimes, a factor or a constraint is fixed while the others change. Sorry. So, take for instance, if the cost changes, if the cost, which is one of the constraint, changes, the others too get affected. It is basic. One of them has to be fixed actually, while the others change. Like I said, so if the cost is fixed, for instance, the other factors, which are scope and time, will change. But time constraint is very critical. So there are five project management processes, and they include initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. So, beginning with initiating. Initiating process involves laying of groundwork for the project by clarifying values it will bring to the organization and setting its objectives and estimating the length of the project, scope, and cost. This is the stage of turning abstract idea into a meaningful goal. But then there is a document called Project Charter. Project Charter is a document that authorizes the project as it incorporates commitment and support of senior management, which is an essential element for the success of the project. Then we have planning. Planning involves complete diligence as the roadmap of the project is being laid out and it serves as a guide to execute the project. This process is expected to take almost half of the time span of the project. Then we have executing. Now, executing is where the actual work is done. Efficient workflows are established here, while effective collaboration is also established between the project stakeholders. Then we have the monitoring and controlling. In this process, tracking progress from the start to finish while addressing any deviations from the plan is done. The tracking of the progress is being done while one is addressing any deviations from the plan. And then we have closing. In the closing process, the project is formally ended in an orderly way. The process documents this process, like the closing process, documents lessons learned from the project. Then we go to the roles of the project manager include the following: strong leadership skills, excellent communication ability, outstanding people skill, good listening skill, technical competence in project area, excellent presentation skill, and good problem solving and critical thinking skills. Though these are not exhaustive, but they are the core roles or main responsibilities of the project manager?
Okay, project management software. The project management software is a digital software that makes it easy to plan projects, allocate tasks, and keep teams organized so that the deadlines and goals are met. It provides extensive tools to help the project manager manage time, manage people and resources, as well as manage costs. When we talk about managing time, once the project starts, the project manager can enter actual completion dates for each task, and the software can what's happening? So as I was saying, when we talk about managing time, once the project starts, the manager can enter actual completion dates for each task, and the software can display two bars for each task, one for the baseline and one for the actual progress. Talking about managing people and resources, the software manages them by tracking their workloads and duties across projects. The software also calculates baseline costs for the projects and provides reports on variances as the project proceeds. Why do projects fail? Have you ever thought about that? Well, several critical factors contribute to failure: lack of executive support, lack of stakeholder involvement, unclear roles and responsibilities, poor communities, um, technology problems, poor management. Although technical problems also contribute to failure, but most fail factors have more to do with the way projects are managed, monitored, communicated, and supported by senior executives. The success factors are almost mirror images of those that contribute to failure. We have people factors, organizational factors, project management factors, external factors. Talking about people factors, this is talking about executive support and sufficient resources being allocated. Organizational factors. This involves the participation and buy-in from a broad range of end users. Project factors. This involves a clear objectives and well-defined scope. Talking about the project management factor, this involves a well-defined system development methodology, system development methodology that is appropriate for the project. External factors is talking about a well understood and binding agreement which vendors and consultants can make use of.
Yeah, so strategic planning for information system. Basically, organizations develop an IT strategic plans which serve as a roadmap or a blueprint for information system that are crucial to achievement and strategic competitiveness. So, in that sense, it means that the company strategy should be in line with the blueprint, which means should be in line with whatever values that the company has in high esteem, literally. So, in that sense, the information system strategy plan should be tightly integrated with these goals, with these values, right? Whether it's the low cost leadership or product differentiation or another one. So basically, stakeholders from across the organization join the initiative, which is led by the chief information officer. Among the key topics, which I will not be addressing, which is basically the mission of the company, the values that the company holds in high esteem, the visions and the policy that are integrated into the system. Yeah. So talking about some of the principles that are laid down for the companies, talking about the vision, talking about how the policies are integrated into the system, right? So the principle that governs how IT is managed and used, as well as how resources are distributed, are determined by the organization's vision, mission, and culture. And also, for instance, let's say a risk-averse financial institution will favor tactics that safeguard assets and guarantee legal compliance, right? So, in that sense, a startup may place a strong emphasis on inventions while developing values that encourage individual creativity. So, for example, let's take Flutterwave, for example. Flutterwave is basically a tech company, right? So if they are experiencing a financial downtime, what they need to focus on is basically innovations that can bring people down into the system, right? And also for other startups, right? they need to focus more on the IT part that can bring people into the system. So that's what that literally explains. Also, the vision and the guiding principle has transformed into policies and procedures. So bringing it back to the values that they hold in high esteem, right? So let's say, for example, Facebook. Facebook is basically built about around connecting people. So if that connection of people is not there, that it's been integrated into the system, you won't have Facebook today. And they develop more strategies as a result of some of these values, which is basically to connect people. So the vision and the guiding principles are transformed into policies and procedures that affect workplace culture and corporate operations, right? How the company deploys its IT resources is also influenced by the guiding principles. The acceptable use policy, which specifies what employees may and cannot do in the IT resources, is likewise governed by organization guiding values, right? So in that sense, to explain further on that, it's basically whatever thing that's coming on in the IT part of a business should be as a result of the values they hold in high esteem. So in that sense, the plan for the architecture should take into account both the current and the desired state of the enterprise architecture, which is the organization overarching ICT environment. The elements of the architecture are constantly changing as new systems are implemented and old ones are retired. Facebook, for example, the Facebook we're using in 2007, 2008, 2009, even 2017 is not the same user interface we are having now, right? So it is based on some of these things that they integrate into the system. So the adjustment will move into the direction of the goal if there is strategic plan to direct the architectural choices. Yeah.
Project portfolio management. Firstly, project portfolio management is a continuous process of selecting which project to pursue, then manage the whole project. Talking about deciding on which project to pursue, the organization must decide on selecting criteria and a strategy to determine which projects will make the best contribution and which are worthy of the investment and also the staff time. One important criteria of the project will contribute to competitive strategy and sorry, talking about deciding which project to pursue. The organization must decide on selecting criteria and a strategy to determine which projects will make the best contribution and which will determine the project and which are worthy of investment and the staff time. One important criteria is whether a project will contribute to the competitive strategy and distinguish the company from rivals. Return on investment is another criteria. On that may not be easy to estimate. By some estimates, over 500 companies think well over half their strategy initiative to projects. Many companies have established a program management office that oversees all the projects going on throughout the organization and provide project management training, software, and support. Talking about disaster recovery and business continuity. Recovery from disaster is not just about bringing the system back online. It also means ensuring business continuity faced with many difficulties, different kind of disaster. The organization must develop a plan for maintaining its business operation to avoid a revenue loss and damage repetition. Disaster recovery business continuity plan starts with a business impact analysis, which identifies the most critical and time sensitive information system. Explain who will be in charge, how many people will communicate, and how the firm will determine the same disaster.
So basically, this comes to the end of our presentation. Thank you for learning with us, and thank you for watching.